Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of Vivel Remote Work Web3 Talks. We have been doing these for the last couple of months with my co founder Lars, and today we are featuring our dear Rowena. Hi, Rowena, how are you?
Hi, buenos dias. Hello, welcome from Zaragoza here in the north of Spain. Pleasure to be here with yourself and Lars, Mina.
How's the weather there?
It's really beautiful and sunny, so I need to get outside later, definitely. We're having a wonderful spring so far, lots of sun.
I can imagine. Spring is almost here in Istanbul as well. And Lars, where are you now?
Right now, I'm actually at home. Had a lovely weekend on the beach. It wasn't warm, but it was definitely sunny. So I mean, I can't complain. I think the Netherlands is a beautiful country when the sun shines.
Yeah. So we will have those nice shiny days when we are going to be in the Vivel event as well, because it's going to be towards the end of May, which is like I think the best season in Turkey. Not too hot, not cold, but just like the perfect. Okay, so as we kick off our discussion, Rowena, I'd like to ask you, like, how you came across Vivel and what made you make your mind about being part of this event and the community.
Well, I've heard amazing things about both of you through my network, and the remote work network is a community in itself. The peers, the experts, people who've been around remote work for many years, had lots of good things to say. And Valentina Thorner is a very good mutual friend of both of ours, Nina. So she had said, "Look at what Nina's doing. Look at what's happening in Turkey." And I got sent an initial link, and I just thought it was fantastic. Why? So I've got a really selfish reason that people might be surprised at about this. Well, kind of two reasons. The selfish one is that I've always wanted, on my travel bucket list has been Cappadocia, to go and see the balloons. So I've always wanted to do that. So when I saw that as part of the program, that really intrigued me. That was the first thing. And then secondly, I've been really open in the last couple of years to learn more about Web3. Web3 is an area that I know is evolving, and that's a really important part of why, when I saw what Vivel were planning to do, that the word network was in there, that supports community, and that's really, really important to us in the remote work, remote first world. They were the reasons that I went, I have to find out more about this.
And it's great that you mentioned also like being curious about Web3, because one of the reasons that we created this event is because we want to have both communities leverage each other's know-how, knowledge, and transfer that know-how to each other's business so that they can co-create and just like expand their business. Because that's what we also like discovered about ourselves too, because like both communities, they actually like supportive. I think they're just like even complementary, so that they would complement each other's work. And then we just like thought, why not just do this event where we can just like bring those together. And so talking about Web3, how do you think the remote work community can benefit from Web3 technologies, or like any other business in already existing in Web3?
So when I teach on remote work at the university with my academic hat on, believe it or not, and you won't be surprised, I start right back to today. Actually, the anniversary of the first mobile phone call, I believe, being made so many years ago. So I go back into the history. There's some good resources online with students of right back to the start. You probably know from my profile, I started working in 1999. I remember Alta Vista. My first job title, believe it or not, was an internet marketing manager when I first graduated. My dissertation in my master's was on creating online communities in 1999. So I'm one of the oldies. When I use the word pioneer, I really mean it. And so Web3, the evolving of Web 1, 1.0, 2.02, Web3, what we're seeing happening in Web3, they complement into remote work. I often get people say to me, but remote work has been around for so many years. And as someone who adopted remote work in 2007 as an early adopter, yes, that's true, but we have the mass adoption happening now. It's the mass adoption post-COVID. We have indie hackers, we have content creators, we have people like each one of us who've never met in different parts of Europe, who trust each other, who know community matters, and that trust that we can build something together. So Web3 is an area that I don't understand at all. There's no way any one person can know all these things that are happening. But I do know remote work is an integral part of it, because most Web3 creators, believers, are producing in remote work every day. They're building, they're shipping, they're hacking, right? And I'll use terms that I don't totally understand as someone who's 50 years old. But what, as you said, Mina, I'm really open to doing, and what everyone will be open to doing who comes to Turkey, is learning from each other, listening and learning and sharing. And that's one of the reasons I've chosen to come, because I'm curious. I can go to other events and I look at the agenda and I kind of go, I know a bit about most of that. I look at what some of the speakers coming to Turkey, and I don't know their expert areas. I don't know exactly what an NFT artist does every day. But the chance to meet them in person and ask them, first of all, the chance to get to know them in person, really important. But then to build that relationship and learn from them is really something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. No, I think the beauty of doing something like this, where you kind of merge 2 or 3 intersections, right? Like, I think the creative sector with musicians and artists, and at the same time, more of the entrepreneurial side of Web3 and remote work is like, how can we do things in a more new and innovative way? I think is something that a lot of people aspire to do. But I think that if you really, you have to take it almost 2 steps back and like look at the personality of someone first. Don't even look at what industry they're in. Look at what type of personality. Then you're going to see that a lot of them are freedom seekers. Both the Web3 communities and the remote work communities, they have a level of freedom in their blood where they want to do things kind of their way, or the way that makes them feel happy, or the way that stands closest to themselves. And I think in the past, we have been shaped to do something the way that other people want us to do, where now there's trust between communities so that you can collaborate rather than, okay, I work for this company, so I have to do it this way. Now it's more like, I can work with anyone I want, but I just have to find people that are similar to me in the morals and values. And I think when you curate the audience that comes to something like this, even though you come from different industries and have different skill sets, you can learn from each other because you are aligned on a personal level first. Then the business side will flow so much easier. And I think that any event that I go to, it feels like it's a lot of the time skill set and selling first. And it's never personal first. It's never, are we the same type of person as far as our belief system, our the way that we connect with each other? And I think that if you sit at a breakfast like that and you have a connection and you feel personally like at the same frequency, and then you go further and deeper into what you do and how you can benefit each other, it's a different angle and it's a different type of relationship building with them. What I have experienced with other events where maybe there's too many people, maybe it's too specific, so you cannot learn something new. So I think that those types of things are very important when you're curating like a group of people. It's not always to look at what can you contribute in your skill set, but also looking at what type of personalities am I attracting.
Totally. And obviously, anyone who knows me, I do the event circuit quite extensively. I have keynotes in different countries coming up. But what I really liked as well about the plans for Turkey is that it's small. It's not massive. It's workshop orientated. It's about enjoying the time in the locations. It's about supporting Turkey as well. There's a special fundraising link coming out of the terrible crisis, the terrible disaster that's been there. So all those values align with mine. I'm a parent, okay? I have to negotiate when I travel. Sometimes our daughter comes with us, but this was one of the things I also felt from my curiosity I would benefit from going. And it's exactly what you said there, Lars. The 2 different communities, those 2, they merge. And spending that time in person, there might be people joining in that are wondering whether it's worthwhile. Whenever I go into community, which I consider the Vivel network to be very much so, going into community to feel psychological safety in that community, to be supported, to enjoy, to share, and to have those similar values with freedom seekers. As a solopreneur, as an entrepreneur myself, I'm not bowing to big corporates. I don't. Occasionally they do pay the bills, but they're not my main value proposition. They're not what supports my family. It's very much about doing the work that is my purpose in the remote work world. And I see that very much aligned with the values of Vivel so far. So for me, it wasn't just the event, it was a network going forward. It's me asking maybe dumb questions about Web3 to the people who live it, and vice versa. Ask me anything about remote work and I will answer. Ask me about my income per month. Ask me about how I've built my business and my following, and I'll answer. And that's why I wanted to do this live event, to say that, you know, this is my intention when I'm there. Also, on a personal level, one of my best friends for 46 years is coming along as my guest. So again, it just shows you, she's a yoga teacher, she's an Ayurvedic doctor. When I shared the links with her, she went, wow, this is your world meeting mine in terms of consciousness. So if that's not a validation, I don't know what else is. So she's traveling from Ireland, and again, just to get really personal, that's how I see this event in Turkey being really important for our community.
I'm really glad how you combined like two worlds together, because that was actually our intention starting last year. Because we really, I mean, personally, like me being in the remote workspace for so long and Lars being in the Web3, we really want to see combine both worlds and just in a really close community. And I'm so glad that you mentioned also this is not only about the event itself, but just like beyond that. And so being part of the Vivel network is what we are envisioning this to be a bigger thing. So by the way, for those of you who don't know about Vivel, it's going to be between 24th to 27th May in Cappadocia-Kayseri and Erciyes. So I just figured out as we were talking, we did not give any information to the newcomers. So just giving all the teasers, but not giving away the details. So we'll be meeting at Vivel events in May from 24th to 27th. And as Rowena was saying, if you're interested, if you want to check the details out, this is the link, the links.vivel.xyz. And if you would like to have a special discount, 10% discount on Rowena's code, you can, at the checkout, you can use the codes, and I'll be sharing it towards the end of our live stream as well. But we have all the details, and if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to me or Lars or even Rowena, because she's now part of the community as well. That's the beauty of coming to Vivel, because whoever comes to Vivel, we see them as the part of the community. We are all in for co-creation. So we want this event to be co-created with our participants, and we want to have that experience turn into something transformative. So whoever comes there, just like, you know, goes back to their homes being someone else, just like, you know, being enriched, being forming those network relationships. Because even us, like going to events, and we've all been to so many events, and one of the biggest pains was like not to get to know each other really well. And so whatever we're designing about the details of the event as well, we make sure that everyone gets to know each other at a personal level, so that they can take that relationship to a further level even after the event.
Totally. And I've already started making some really good contacts, just to let you both know, even from the private groups we've created running up to the event with the different DJs, the speakers. It's been really, really useful. And reading their profiles as well, because as I said, I'm coming with my curiosity. So I think, as you said, particularly Lars, it's more about that sharing. It's more, we say in Espanol, so you know, intercambio, when you're sharing your different languages. I've done it often with Spanish friends here, Spanish and English, but it feels much more like that already, that we're there to share with each other and support each other. And that's, I really like that. So I feel that the foundational community is already there. Mina, you're taking care of the details, so thank you. Yeah, if anyone wants to either reach out on LinkedIn or look at those different links to ask any questions, they're welcome to, or to go ahead, hopefully, and purchase some tickets. Because again, as part of the community, we want to support other people joining and make them really feel welcome. In Irish Gaelic, that's Céad Míle Fáilte, 100 million welcomes, and bienvenidos, mil bienvenidos in Espanol. So again, bringing that cultural element. I consider myself not only a freedom seeker, but my family and I, we consider ourselves global citizens and welcoming everyone. I'll have to learn how I say it as well in Turkish, but welcoming everyone and we can add in the Dutch as well, Lars, okay? So that we can make people feel welcome, that they can join in, that they can ask questions, and that they can be part of the community either for the event or going on later, as you know, if it's more appropriate that they join in at a later point. But the inaugural event is really excited to kick off. I'm really excited about that because it'll kick off everything fully.
By the way, we have a comment from one of our audience. Such an interesting approach, Rowena. Are we aware of the importance on emotional selling? He asks. I think he's asking about the event itself.
But I think, I think that question, help me out if I've misinterpreted, is about the emotional selling, about going and feeling really connected to something. Yeah, I mean, I do get a little bit emotional, and I had a couple of cries last year, to be honest with you, coming off of COVID, when I went to my first physical events and connected back in with community, because I hadn't had community. I was here in Zaragoza stuck for many months. I don't know if it was the same for you both during the pandemic. And luckily, I had been to Nomad City in 2019, and I had connected with a lot of the remote work community there in Gran Canaria, and they supported us through, or supported me, and we supported each other. But the emotional selling, maybe that's what I'm doing, but it's also the authentic me that, you know, I go to events so that I can really meet with people and feel that emotion, because remote doesn't mean being distant. And there's a lot of bad media press about remote workers not needing connection with people. And that isn't the case. We go to events and to connect with people in person. And Chase and a lot of the remote first peers that I work with, Valentina, etc., we're all for those in-person meetups. That's why I'm traveling to Lisbon. That's why I'm going to Turkey. We want to meet with people in person. And if I'm emotionally selling that, I hope I am, because it's really, really important, because one of the negatives of remote work can be that you feel isolated. And it's events like this that negate that isolation.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm so glad that you pointed this out, because usually people just misinterpret that. And when we say that asynchronous communication, we just say that for the things that we can do on our own, so that we are not losing time or we are not wasting each other's time. But personal connection, and we are all for that. And what we are just actually supporting the idea that we are behind is that we want to have more of these times, because get work done asynchronously, so we have more time connecting with people in real life. And so we are all for that. And so remote work does not mean being distant. And these are the perfect opportunities to get to know these people, to get to know them in person, and also have a relationship building at the personal level. Because our event, by the way, is not only going to be a conference or a networking event, but we will have a music part of it too. So Lars, do you want to give some information about what kind of music can the participants expect from this event?
Yeah, and I would love to first comment on something that you guys both are sharing, is that I think that we live in a very digital space at the moment, but at the same time, the best memories that you have come from experiences during your life. And I think that these types of bondings are there to be long lasting. And I think that another element that I want to mention is that shared experiences lead to longer term relationships. And I think that when you go to an event like this, it's not supposed to be the ending point. It's supposed to be the starting point. And I think when you build a network or any community, you know that you need a spark, you need a Kickstarter, you might need emotional selling to be able to get over that first hurdle. But when you're over the first hurdle, it's not supposed to be the end. It's supposed to be fueled, and you're supposed to be stimulated and sparked way beyond that first experience. And I think that the difference that we want to make is that we don't need to be the name that does all the events. We want to be the signature event at the end of May, but everything else, we are willing to work with any other event that stimulates the same morals and values. Because why would we not share our audience to go to these events that have similar mindsets, similar ideas? And that can be small, like a retreat. It can be big, like a festival. It can be music, it can be mindfulness, it can be a yoga retreat. It can be anything that falls into the same category. And I think that's the vision that I have for this world, is that we can use remote work and Web3 as tools digitally, but we actually look forward to these little touch points, meetups, where we can come together again to have that in-person feeling and that experience. And I think that music is something that connects people. So why did we want to add that to this? Is because it's a great way for people to be in an environment where they're sharing something without necessarily having to do anything. It's like you just showing up and feel that energy is going to lead to you immersing into, we are on the same page. There is no hierarchies here. Everybody is equal. And that's the beauty, I think, for me with music, is that you can show up and you can be yourself, and there is no I guess levels or anything. It's just a feeling that you get. So when you're watching the sun rise in Cappadocia with the air balloons in the background, you want more of a melodic type of sound, right? So we have DJs that would kind of make that feeling occur. And then at the nighttime, you might want to maybe dance the night away at some point. So there is different ways that you can use music to set a mood. Like just like any of us probably listens to Spotify and they have a certain mood that you want to listen to. I think this is like very much the same thing. It's like you pick a setting and you try to set the mood with that music, and that's going to lead to you relating back to an experience you had with the people at the same event. So that's, I guess, a little bit about the details. The lineup of the actual the music is going to be announced either this week or next week. We have all the DJs as good as confirmed, so that would be a very nice little announcement that we will make. Speakers, we have a few more to fill here and there. We have also some stage sponsorships left for the music event. So there's still some things that are being curated, but I'm very excited to see all these things come together step by step.
I just wanted to have this caption, the burning, because this is the mood. And so as he was like, explaining what to expect at the event, we really want to create that experience. We want this to be about the experience itself, not only about the talks, not only about the conference, not only about networking, but to create like a holistic feeling as you're living the site itself, that you have this experience, you have this feeling that you're taking back home. And so you want to add something, Rowena?
No, just that I had a good laugh at Burning Man event for remote work in Web 3.0, because Lars and Mina don't know, but I actually spent 6 months in a camper van about 12 years ago doing about 18 festivals across Europe, working on different crews. So I have a music festival background, which a lot of people don't know about me. But yeah, when I was younger, I did that. So I'm a big fan of music festivals. I've actually never made it to Burning Man. I've had a lot of conversations about trying to get there. A lot of my friends have gone, but I have done a lot of the main festivals in Ireland, Electric Picnic, especially Festival on the Isle of Wight is one of my favorites as well. So there's, I understand what you're trying to do there. And I really liked when I saw the agenda as well. I really liked that it was local artists to complement you as well. That I noticed that. I really, really noticed that. And I have some Spotify ambient and techno playlists, but a couple of the DJs I've already learned are new sources. I've shared them with some friends. So for me, it's been a way of discovering new Turkish music that I might like as well. So again, straight away within a couple of weeks of getting involved, I knew our values aligned because of some of those things that you were sending out, that you were doing. So I want to compliment you both. And I also want to compliment you both because I know as an event organizer in the past, you need to hear this, that you're living to your values and you're doing it. And I really respect that, because there's a lot of obviously to get the corporate sponsorships to have bigger events, that's not what you're trying to do. You've been very open to collaborations. I've seen it in all of the exchanges that we have had. So I really want to also use this opportunity to confirm your values with you and keep motivating you and validating that I'm really enjoying being part of the process and community so far. So thank you from me personally on that too.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, because like really, like from the point we met, and the point actually we met in person in Istanbul, I knew that this was going to happen, because like we always tell each other and remind each other that we are really like-minded and we know what we were envisioning. And what we are envisioning is really to co-create an experience for both of these communities, not only for the event, but to have it like to have an evergreen community where we are helping each other. So if you, let's say, be part of this community, we are not obsessed with our brand Vivel, but we want to support anyone who is within the community. So if anyone's just like doing another event throughout the year, we're always going to be supporting that community member with the announcements, with the interactions. So we really believe in this idea and we want to create an impact with this. And having said that, we also, as Lars mentioned, let me remind that we are still looking for a couple of sponsors for our stages. So if anyone is sharing our vision, and we are really keen on that, because we want to onboard the sponsors who are just like, sharing the same vision. We're really like helping co-creating this event. And for that, we're specifically working with them in a way that they are also adding value to the event. So not only like getting them onboarded for the sake of having their names on the walls, but really having that value added to each part of the event as itself.
You want to do it together, right? Like I think that's the biggest thing, right? In the end, the speakers are contributing by sharing knowledge. The DJs are adding value by presenting their craft. Artists might do it in the form of the way that things look. And then you have sponsors that could have offerings and things that would benefit the actual people that show up at the event. That's why I think, a traditional sponsorship looks like, okay, you're going to put something in and you get something in return. Well, what if your stage is the element of the event that you're co-creating? So you can almost take ownership of that component of the event. It changes kind of the perspective of how you view a sponsorship when you are very much immersed into one of the elements of an event. And I think that when you do it that way, it gives a little bit of autonomy, like you get to create something and you get to give your inputs and your values on whatever it is that you believe in. And then certain people are going to resonate with it and others might not, but that does not matter because the group is so small. If you can connect with 20 people and build relationships from them connecting with your values, morals, and maybe ideas, or they're curious, like I guess Web3 might be a curiosity of someone, or remote work, depending on where they came from. And I think when you look at it from that perspective, can you really put a price tag on any of those types of things where if you have curiosity and your curiosity is being fueled, I think that's something that events don't always spark, because you cannot have a conversation with someone where you're watching a talk from, but you never have access to them to have a conversation. You're staying at the same hotel, you're having the same meals, you're going to the same workshops. So you have many touch points where you could just pull someone aside and have a conversation without feeling like you have to pay for a VIP package to get that, right? That's the mentality that no other event has like that sense for, because they care about the numbers. We care about the quality that those individuals that you speak with have to give. So I think Rowena is a perfect example of someone that you can just pull aside and ask any questions towards. She will do the same. I'm sure, listening to her, she's going to pull someone aside that has an idea or like a vision that she's like, how can I use that? Or how can I do something with it? And I think when the mentalities start to emerge and align, I think that people will see the value of something like this.
Totally. And I was just catching up on the comments there because I hadn't had a chance, Mina, and that question about emotional salary. The thing is that it's also about as I said, the case that I come and I'm curious. So it's that exchange. We're open to an exchange rather than you come and sit and watch someone like me that you can't access, as you say, Lars, giving a keynote that you then can't ask questions to. So I'm coming with an expectation of giving, but also exchanging, like in the barter system, and learning and listening and asking a DJ why he played that song for that moment. And, going to another workshop leader and saying afterwards, not so much about their content, but how did you design that type of delivery? Already with Mina and Lars, I'm learning about their values and how they're putting together this experience, because it's more than an event. And that, what I know about Web3, what I do know, that leads into that sharing, that community that Web3 is promoting as part of the advantage, that decentralization of knowledge, let's all share, let's all benefit openly, let's all contribute and listen and learn and gain. And that's something that really, really, I feel more that I don't feel like it's such an emotional salary, because I'm coming for that exchange. Also, interestingly for me, because of the discussions with you both and how it's sort of panned out, it also agrees with what you're saying, both of you, about this is not just about the event. The process starts beforehand and it'll keep going afterwards. We can lean into each other's skills and share as a community ongoing. And there's something really lovely about that. There's something very nurturing about it, because it doesn't feel like, in some cases with events, where it'll just be a one-off. It feels like that support will be there ongoing. So that's something, again, that I know you're both hinting into, but talking about it now, it reassures me and it makes me feel smiley on a Monday.
Personally, I'm so much looking forward to this event, because I know that it's going to be a lot of fun. And also, I think it's going to be fulfilling, and really a fulfilling and transformative event. So we were actually designing the event from the level of our expectations. So we were like asking each other, like, what if it was you who was like considering to participate? What if it was like us going there, just like knowing nothing? So we are really coming from our own pain points that we have experienced while attending the event. So we are designing it in a way that is a fulfilling event for everyone, and even not for that specific event, but after the event, to have that lifelong connections where they can also benefit from, for their work, for their personal lives. So we are really looking forward to it. So as closing remarks, do you have anything to add, Lars, Rowena?
Go ahead if you have something.
I just wanted to say thank you. Obviously, hopefully it's come across. Thank you for being so brave, because it does take bravery to create something new. And also, I really love that you've come from two different sectors. It's obvious that you've got very complementary talents, the two of you, but you're providing that bridge that's really needed, certainly from my perspective, between Web3 and remote work, to massive communities of influence, of practice, of potential that we need. And creating a physical event is no mean feat. I've done it in my career. It is something that takes bravery, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of the community I represent.
Thank you for all your support. Really, you've been genuinely supporting this. You really put your heart into this. So I would like to thank you for that as well.
Yeah, all the experiences of the people that are like you could feel it in like the Telegram group that we have for everyone that already has committed. All those people have shared their experiences from a music perspective. What do you like about a festival? What don't you like about a festival? Same for events. We have asked all the people to help shape what our inspiration is, our fuel, our ability to pivot and do things. Because the number is low, we have so much possibilities to create something that is not just our vision. It is all the little components of experiences coming together and shaping that into, and every year that's going to develop more and more and more, because this is not something that is our way is the highway. This is something that we need to curate together, because we have a remote world. We don't need to just say this is the right way. We have to take all the considerations and all the experiences and put that together. And I think when the intention is like that, you cannot really go wrong. As much as things can go wrong during events, you cannot really go wrong when the intention is set in that way. So I appreciate like your experience and the feedback that you're giving. The questions that you ask are like telling more than you know. Like sometimes just saying, hey, what about the program? Can we outline it more detailed? That by itself is feedback that is going to help us to get in better places, to be able to have people understand the value that they get. So I appreciate that feedback and that forwardness to be able to share your experiences and thoughts.
Fabulous, and I'm looking forward to meeting you both in person. I think I might see Mina sooner than Istanbul because our paths might cross. But Lars, really looking forward to seeing you and meeting you in Istanbul. And hopefully people will check out the links. As I said, feel free. Thanks for the question, Thomas. I saw it coming in there a little bit after you asked it. Thomas is a good contact of mine. Thanks for that question. Thanks for everyone who joined in. And if there is anything, please do reach out on LinkedIn if I can support you in your decision. Hopefully to join the community. Everyone is welcome in all the different languages that we can manage to speak. And thanks again for hosting this
also
session.
shared. Merhaba, muy bien.
Serik, I met Serik. Oh, hi, Serik. I'm so glad Serik is joining in. I met Serik in Tirana last year, and he's a fascinating nomad. Maybe he will make it. Maybe he will make it to Turkey. He's amazing person who speaks so many languages. Oh my gosh, the man speaks so many languages. So lovely that he could join in as well. So fantastic.
I think we will have a great diversity, and that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to as well. And so thank you, Rowena. Thank you, Lars. And thank you to everyone who's been watching us. And for those of you who are, if you're interested to be part of this community, if you like the concept, this is the link that you can visit to get more details about the event. And you will see the ticketing link there too. And at the checkout, if you use Rowena's code, special discount code, Rowena10, you will get a 10% discount. We are looking forward to having you at the event too. And so take care until we meet for next time.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Take care.